What's going on, everyone? Burbank Aviation here, and welcome back to another video. Today we have the June 2025 Charleston International Airport update for you guys. We got a very exciting airport update here with some new routes starting, aircraft changes, and all sorts of stuff to be going over here in today's video. Really hope you guys enjoy. If you do, please make sure to like and subscribe, as it really help me out. And anyways, let's just get started. We're going to start down over here in gate B2 with the Southwest 737-800. This guy's going to be heading on over to Chicago Midway after arriving in from Nashville. Chicago is a 1 daily going up to 2 daily on the weekends. Nashville is a solid 3 daily, our second best service here for Southwest out of Charleston. We also got this Emua 1737 MAX 8 right here. This guy's going to be heading on over to Baltimore after arriving in from Kansas City. Baltimore is our best service here, flying 4 times a day, going down to 3 daily on Saturdays, but still our best service out of here. Kansas City, that is our new service that started up here on June 7th. That is our Saturday only here for Southwest. That is a seasonal that resumed. Not sure when the last time they flew it is, but it is a resuming seasonal, so very, very glad to have this. We are flying total 9 Southwest services now, which all of those are actually currently operational, which is super nice. So we got 9 Southwest routes this month, up to 14 daily flights, so really, really cool to see that. 13 daily on the weekdays, 14 daily on the weekends. So very good job here for Southwest. Love to see the service out to Kansas City. Got the JetBlue A220-300. This guy's been heading on over to Boston after arriving in from Fort Lauderdale. Boston's a 2 daily. A220, you just get one of these on Tuesdays, but outside of that, very, very typical here for JetBlue. Fort Lauderdale is a 4 weekly A220 that is flying every day except Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday, but still a very nice service nonetheless right there. Got the Air Canada Express CRJ-900. This guy's going to be heading on over to Toronto 5 times a week. That is flying every day except Tuesday and Wednesday. Very, very glad to have this back. This returned in April, I'm pretty sure, and it is still going strong. Hopefully we'll see this go up to 1 daily here as we get to the summer months, but still very happy to have this service on over to Toronto. Currently our only international flight. Got the Spirit A320neo right here. This guy's been heading on over to Newark after arriving in from Detroit. Newark is a 1 daily, Detroit a 4 weekly, flying Sunday, Monday, Thursday, Friday. You also have Fort Lauderdale flying Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and then Baltimore flying as a Monday, Friday. So still very cool to see those services right there for Spirit. They're still doing pretty strong out here currently. Got the American A319 with the Sharklets. This guy is going to be heading on over to Miami after arriving in from Chicago O'Hare. Miami is a 3 daily, getting 3 A319s on Tuesday and Wednesday. One of those A319s goes to an Envoy UN-75. And then Chicago O'Hare is a 3 daily, getting 2 Envoy UN-75s, and then a Republic UN-75. And then on the weekends, the Republic UN-75 goes up to an A319, like you see right here. So very, very cool to see that mainline service out and over to Chicago. Got 2 regional jets here for American, starting here in the front with this UN-75. This guy's going to be doing the turnaround service on over to New York LaGuardia. This is another one of our new services that has started here. LaGuardia is a 2 weekly, flying on Saturday and Sunday only on this Republic UN-75. Very, very cool to have this back. I think this is going to be, it was only supposed to stick around for a few months, but I think they extended it. So very, very happy with that. It was also supposed to be 1 weekly at the start, and it is up to a 2 weekly, and I'm pretty sure it's supposed to go up even further to 4 weekly, I think, is what we're supposed to get in a couple months. Also, very, very glad to have this service out to LaGuardia here for American. That is one of the 3 new returning routes that has started this month. So very, very cool to see that there for American. The CRJ-900 in the back is going to be heading on over to Washington Reagan after arriving from Philadelphia. Washington Reagan is right around a 5 daily, getting 2 PSA CRJ-900s, a Republican UN-75, and 2 A319s. And then on Saturday, it goes to 4 daily, getting 1 CRJ-700, 1 CRJ-900, both PSA, Envoy UN-75 instead, and then 1 A319. But still very nice to see that there for American. Right here we got this American 77-800. This guy's going to be heading over to Dallas-Fort Worth after arriving from Charlotte. Dallas is pretty consistent at around a 5 daily, getting 2 PSA CRJ-900s and then 3 737-800s. On Tuesday, you lose one of the 737s, and then on Fridays, one of those 737s goes to an A319. But still very nice to see that right there. United Express E170 phone in for an E175 here. This guy's going to be heading on over to Houston after arriving in from Washington Dulles. Washington Dulles is a 4-day league, getting 3 E175s from both Republic and Mesa, along with Max 8. Houston is a 2-day league, getting a Mesa E175 and an A319. On the weekends, that A319 goes to a 2nd-day league E175. Speaking of the A319, we got this right here. This is to finish off our B gates. Really nice if this focus. There we go. It's a bit better. This guy's going to be heading on over to Chicago O'Hare after arriving in from Newark. Chicago is a 3-day league, getting a Republic E175, A319, and a 737-700. You do lose the A319 on Tuesday and Wednesday, but still glad to see that out there. And then Newark is a 2-day league, getting an A319 and a 737-900ER. On Thursdays, you get an additional Republic E170, so still very nice to see that right there. Got the Breeze A220-300. This guy's going to be heading on over to Akron, Canton after arriving in from Tampa. Akron, Canton is a 1-day league, getting this every day except Wednesday, which is on an E190. Tampa, meanwhile, is a 1-day league as well, seeing this every day except Wednesday and Saturday, which is on an E190. So quite a few 1-day league services actually this month for Breeze. I think we are currently running 3. Akron, Canton, Tampa, and then there's one more that we will cover here in a moment. So Breeze doing a very nice job out of here this month. Got the Sun Country 77-800, 40 years of flight sticker. I know the lighting isn't super good from this angle. This guy's gonna be heading over to Minneapolis on the turnaround service. 2 weekly, Sunday and Thursday. I think that returned this month. It was either this month or last month that it returned. But still very glad to have Sun Country back here with that 2 weekly on over to Minneapolis. You also got the Delta 77-9GR heading over to Atlanta on the turnaround service. Atlanta is getting right around 9 to 11 daily, mainly 10 to 11, seeing the Endeavor CRJ-900 and the 737-9GR. And then on Saturday, you do get a couple 717 flights, so still super cool to see that there. The Breeze E195 right here is going to be heading on over to New Orleans after arriving in from Rochester. New Orleans is a 5 weekly flying every day except Tuesday and Saturday. That is an all E195 service, so great to see this here on the E195. Rochester, meanwhile, is one of our newer services. I think that kicked in late May. And that is a 2 weekly Sunday and Thursday on the E190. So very, very cool to see the E190 still getting into quite a few destinations here. I think they are currently getting into 6. You have 1 a week to Akron, Canton, 5 a week to New Orleans, 2 a week to Tampa, 1 a week to Louisville, 2 a week to Windsor Locks, and then 2 a week to Rochester. So they're doing pretty well out here still kind of hanging on. I would love to be able to get at least this in every update until they do end up retiring, which I'm pretty sure is going to be soon. Not retiring, just switching out of commercial operations. Got the Breeze A220-300 right here. This guy's going to be heading on over to, we'll do Providence for this one after arriving in from Pittsburgh. Providence is a 1-day lead. That is just a solid 1-day A220-300. So that is our biggest route in terms of seats. After arriving in from Pittsburgh, that is a 5 weekly flying every day except Sunday and Tuesday, all on the A220 there. So another very good service here. Lots of good services here for Breeze right now. You got White Plains at a 5 weekly as well. You got Portland, Maine, and New Haven both at a 4 weekly. You have Windsor Locks at a 5 weekly, Orlando at a 4 weekly. So a lot of services doing well. Fort Myers also at a 4 weekly. So a lot of services here for Breeze doing well on the upper side of frequency here compared to a majority of the routes. So we'll hope that sticks as we continue through the summer months. Something that has been consistent though is this Alaskan Max 9 heading on over to Seattle, 1 daily there. Really love to have this coast-to-coast connection here for Alaska. We don't really get many of these. You have Breeze to Los Angeles, and then that is about it here for coast-to-coast connection. So very, very nice to have this Alaska out to Seattle. The Delta A220-300 is going to be heading on over to New York LaGuardia after arriving in from Boston. Boston is a 1 daily, getting this A220-300 in once a day. The weekends go to 2 daily. Sunday is just 2 of these A220s. Saturday is 1 A321 and 1 737-800, which is definitely the cool day here throughout the week. Really cool to get both an A321 and a 737-800 in here. We don't get those on any other surfaces, so super cool to see that right there. LaGuardia, meanwhile, that is a solid 4 daily, getting 1 Endeavor CRJ-900, 2 E175s, and an A220-100. And then on Saturdays, that CRJ does go to an A220-300, like you do see right here. To finish it off here for Delta, you got the CRJ-900. This guy's going to be heading on over to JFK after arriving from Detroit. JFK is a 3 daily Endeavor CRJ-900. Detroit is a 3 daily, getting 2 SkyWest CRJ-900s and 1 717. So you do get a little bit of mainline out to Detroit. So super cool to see that right there. And then to finish it off here, you have this Allegiant A319. This guy is going to be heading on over to Columbus after arriving in from Indianapolis. Both the services are a 2-weekly, Monday and Friday. So very, very cool to see that there. You also have Cincinnati running 3 times a week, Sunday, Thursday, and Saturday. But those Columbus and Indianapolis services have returned. So very glad to have those back. Very quickly here, we are going to kind of hit on some of the aircrafts in the hard stands. I like to try and include these now as we just have some routes that we are not able to go over that I'd like to. Delta 320 here, this guy's doing the turnaround out to Minneapolis. That is a 1 daily. Goes to 2 daily on Saturdays with an additional A319 flight, so that's very cool to see that right there, but still very well, doing very well here for Minneapolis on Delta. Southwest 737-700, this guy's going to be heading on over to Dallas after arriving from Houston. Both those services are 1 daily, so 2 more Texas routes there. Very cool to see that there for Southwest. JetBlue A320, this guy's heading on over to JFK. That is a 2 daily, our best service out of here, at least our most consistent. 2 daily there, 1 A320, 1 A320-300, so very cool to get this A320 in once a day. The MAX 8 here for Southwest is going to be heading on over to St. Louis after arriving from Austin. Those are both 1 daily services as well. The only service I have not covered for Southwest is the 1 daily out to Denver. One of our other kind of more western coast routes here out of Charleston. And then finally here to finish it off, you got this Frontier A320neo in the Baja, the Whale Shark tail livery. This guy's going to be heading on over to Philadelphia. That is a 2-weekly Monday and Friday service right there. All right, so we do have a pretty good amount of news to go over here. We're going to start with United. The Dole service is now a 4 daily. That is up from a 3 daily, so really good to see that. And then Newark down to a 2 daily from a 3 daily. We still technically down 6 weekly flights as we still have a 3 daily on Thursdays. But pretty much just a 1 daily trade-off between those 2 routes. Spirit here, that Newark service is down to a 1 daily from 10 weekly, so a couple weekly flight drop there. But Detroit is up to a 4 weekly from 2 weekly, so a little bit of a trade-off there for Spirit. Avelo, the one airline that I do have not in this update, that service to New Haven is down to a 2 weekly from a 4 weekly. American, like we mentioned here, LaGuardia, that service began on June 6th as a 2 weekly IN-10-5, so very, very glad to have that servicing now. Allegiant, that Cincinnati service is up to a 3 weekly from a 2 weekly, so great to see that increase right there. I may have forgotten to write down the resumption of the 2 seasonal services. Not entirely sure with that. The Delta, or for Delta here, I should say, Minneapolis, they have an additional A319 flight on Saturday, so that is very cool to see that right there. Doing super well there on Delta. JetBlue here. The Boston service is down to a 2 daily from a 3 daily, and then Fort Lauderdale down to a 4 weekly from a 5 weekly, so a bit of a drop there for JetBlue. Definitely sucks to see that right there. And Southwest here, we're just going to go over their news real quick. Houston and Austin are both up to a 1 daily. Houston from a 5 weekly, Austin from a 4 weekly, so great to see those increases. And then Kansas City, that seasonal service returned on June 7th. Very happy to have this now as we get our total up to 9 different routes, and that is a Saturday only flight there. Breeze, definitely our biggest airline here in terms of news. Fort Myers up to a 4 weekly from a 2 weekly. Islip up to a 3 weekly from a 2 weekly. Tampa up to a 1 daily from a 4 weekly. Pittsburgh up to a 5-weekly from 4-weekly. Portland, Maine up to a 4-weekly from 3-weekly. New Haven up to a 4-weekly from 2-weekly. Rochester, so that was one of the routes we've had for a little bit. That is now in an E190. That was on an A220-300. And we had Burlington and Albany, New York. Both those services began recently. Burlington was very, very end of May. That was May 30th. And then Albany begins on June 13th. So that comes in from a couple days from posting. Both those are 2-weekly A220-300. So very, very nice there. All the airlines here are really doing super well. JetBlue, really the only one with a down, kind of a downcrease here this month, but outside of that, everything's going super well. Can't wait to see what we have coming up here in the next few months. Really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe, as it really helped me out. And I will see you all in the next one.